what makes a top tier. That's it. I don't have any kind of smart intro. Before we dive into our main topic, let's focus on your fighting game of choice. The fighting game you enjoy the most will affect how top tiers work after all. Let's take Street Fighter for example. Specifically 6, as that's the newest one, and I don't feel like getting footage for that one. So, currently Street Fighter 6 is still new, but there's some strong contenders for top tiers. You have Manon, who everyone says is the true epitome of evil. Luke is a contender due to him just being an asshole, and will DDT you straight to hell. DJ, who could just do this for some reason, and a couple others I don't feel like mentioning. Now, even though I've laid out a couple of the top tiers currently, for Street Fighter specifically, the tiers are just more so a guide instead of a full-blown this is good, this is bad. For example, yeah, you can play Luke and still lose majority of your matches, or you can play Zangief, who's objectively and conceptually bad, but you can do this. The tiers of Street Fighter are guides to help you out instead of just saying these characters will always beat you, these will always make you lose. And that's why it's important to figure out what kind of game it is that you're playing so you can judge each tier list differently. So now that we got that established, let's get into what actually makes a top tier. A top tier can be defined into many traits, but we're just gonna focus on 3: frame data, moveset, and damage. Let's start with the easier out of the 3. Damage. Now, there can be arguments made about low damage being able to go into bigger combos, but consider the following. That was 6 moves, and they're above half his health. Damage matters a lot, but when we talk about damage, we gotta talk about archetypes, and that's a whole topic I don't want to talk about. The point is, when considering top tiers, decent or high damage is always key. So explain what frame data is could take me longer than I want to, especially to someone who doesn't even know what frame data is. So I'll go break it down as simple as possible. Positive number, good. Negative number, bad. So now that we got that out of the way, when we consider top tiers, we're usually looking at how many moves are positive or as little negative as possible. For example, jabs on majority of characters are usually their fastest move, either being plus or slightly negative. Being positive will always lead you to being safe for counterattacks or punishing your opponent for performing a slower move than yours. Since I talked about her earlier, let's look specifically at Monon's command grab. As you can see, depending on if I do light, heavy, or medium punch, these moves' startup frames range from 5 to 10, which is decently fast, especially at frame 5-1. It catches people off guard, but as you can see, on whiff, I am able for 60 frames, which is basically a full-blown 1 to 2 seconds, which is a lot for someone to completely make a counter and basically kill you. You always want to look at characters' frame data whenever you're looking into characters you like to see how someone will react to this move or how you're able to counter their moves and properly punish them. I could talk about frame data for years, but I highly recommend you go out and look into your character's frame data for whatever game you play. I personally use Dustloop since my main games are Guilty Gear and not even have a Street Fighter 6 I'm in, so I highly recommend it. Dustloop, you're looking for sponsors, please sponsor me. I just gave you like a whole advertisement. I need this. The moveset is what combines my first 2 criteria and puts them all together. And there's no better character showcase than the one that took over the internet. The most evil character all of fighting games. The most vile creature known to man. Bridget. I know the answer is Strive, of course, would be Happy Chaos, but I'd like to make my reason known, so let me explain. First and foremost, I love Bridget. I have played her ever since she came out, and I have not clicked with anyone on such a level as much as her. But I can say confidently that Bridget, in my opinion, is what a top tier is. Now, A tier list, you'll probably see her at A tier, maybe B, but for me, she is a S tier character. Her moves are either decent to incredibly fast and safe. Her health is not terribly low, but her damage is pretty solid and is mixed with her decently fast low frame data, which can lead to things like this. She also has a command grab, which is good for catching people off guard since it's a jump in. It has setups that will keep you trapped in the corner for basically years. She generally has everything. She even has a DP that can be roaming cancel to other stupid bullshit. Her 2D leads at the setups and her air dust is fast enough. And it's a multi-hit to add on, so even on block it is safe. And last but not least, the equivalent of being branded with the brand of sacrifice. This yo-yo. Once this has been thrown out, you are dead. There is no coming back for you. This is your nightmare now. I just really don't understand how you lose with her. The only way I can see it is either getting Happy Chaos stiffed or generally just not knowing her flowchart. Flowcharts are another thing. I don't feel like getting into it, so sorry. I love her, and I'm okay with being called the worst person in the world for playing her by my friends. But this is how a top tier is. This is the truest top tier I've ever seen. Also, the runner-up is Wagner from Other Night, because that bitch is insane.
Enough. Back with another milk. Help! Help! Help me!
Like I said before, top tiers will either make or break your game. The top tiers, no matter how insanely good they are important to fighting games. Because when you overcome this gigantic mountain, whether in front of close friends or thousands of people at a tournament, it'll feel like Cloud 9. So, go look at your little Twitter.com tier list for your fighting games of choice and get to labbing. I wish you all the best luck. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. FYI, everything I said I wouldn't talk about in this video, I will talk about in a later video of its own. So look forward to that. Okay, bye.